Figured out. Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Hope you're all doing well this morning. My name is Christopher Donnell, and I'm one of the pastors at Urbana UMC, and I'm here to bring you a little Monday motivation. As I was thinking about what we could bring today to give you a little bit of motivation to your Monday, I got the honor to preach yesterday at our church service at Urbana UMC, and we're in the middle of a series called X Marks the Spot, and it's about the pathway to discipleship. And yesterday, the topic that I got to preach on was the Great Commission. And, I think we all, if you've been in a church and you've been seasoned for a while, you've probably heard the commission thrown around a lot. And it's a great passage to encourage and equip the body to go forward to further the kingdom. But other than just reciting those words from time to time, I've never really taken the time to unpack it and really look at kind of the whole chapter of chapter 28, what happens after Jesus comes back from the dead. He's resurrected from the dead, and he comes to give his disciples and followers one last command and go forth message. And so I just wanted to share a couple or three of the application takeaways I had from my message with you all this morning. So if that's okay. The first one is I said, if we don't own our faith, we will wield it as a weapon when we're in fear of accountability, and we'll deny it when we get uncomfortable or comfortable. And this really has a lot to do with this complex around our very, very personal faith stories, journeys, especially in the American church. We love our privacy. We love to be anonymous. We love to be, I got Lydia joining me this morning. We love to be anonymous. We love to kind of do things alone. We're very much lone wolf kind of people. And so this idea really plays out heavy in our church today. But church is not meant to be done alone. Church is meant to be together and for each other and with each other. And so the idea is the Great Commission basically gives us accountability to each other when it says go into the world, into the nations, with the backdrop as the Sermon on the Mount. If we don't have accountability with each other, we'll lose credibility with the world, which really looks like having our personal faith connected with each other. Again, faith was never meant to be cultivated alone. And so I think there's times when we can wield our faith as a weapon instead of a way to help people or to bring people closer to Christ. We can use it to say a lot of different things that we want to say, even if they're not true. We can make them true just by spending some words. So I think it's super important that if we don't own our faith, we can end up using it as a weapon at times, and even just dropping it altogether when life gets uncomfortable. The second point was, if we don't own the good news of Jesus and the kingdom, we will lose our credibility with our hurting neighbors and world. And I kind of framed this with Pastor Jim and I's call stories. And a call story looks like whenever you were called to follow Jesus and maybe into pastoral ministry. But the idea is that we're all called to follow Jesus and all called to minister to the world. And so it's funny when he and I were sitting down at his desk when they were talking, and he was telling me his story and just how he had an encounter with Jesus and really just felt captivated to give his life over and follow him. And I shared mine. It was so similar. And then we both just laughed and chuckled, because it's like, if Jesus calls us, a guy like me and a guy like Pastor Jim, to ministry and to lead others towards Jesus, man, he calls all of us. And I think Pastor Jim's a great guy, and obviously I try to be as well, but we're not perfect. And I think that's the idea, is that God doesn't just create and call these perfect people to lead the world. He uses everybody. You gotta go potty? All right, right now. All right, cool. You go potty, come right back. Just go upstairs. upstairs. It's fine. Short commercial break there for a potty break. But yeah, if the Lord calls Pastor Jim and I, he's going to call all of us, and I think that's important. And with that, all we need is a yes, and God will use that yes. But it does have to look like the Sermon on the Mount. And this is what I shared yesterday in church. I mean, he shares the Beatitudes, Jesus does on the mountain, but then he goes on to share all these really kind of heavy topics, but really short and sweet to the point. He says, be salt and light, fulfill the law. Don't let anger win. Don't lust. Stay committed. Speak truth. Serve those in charge. Love your enemies. Give freely. Pray often. Fast from things that we can indulge. Don't hoard your treasures. Don't worry. Don't judge. Don't just ask questions. Seek them. Let your actions speak for your faith. Build your life on a solid foundation. And the third was, if we don't own the go in the gospel, our message of hope, love, and truth will become someone else's responsibility until we've exhausted all of our resources. And this really goes back to the lie I've said that the American church has really bought, is that everything is the pastor's job. From winning souls for Jesus to balancing a budget to recruiting an army of volunteers to do ministry. The list goes on and on. And when anything wrong happens, it's always the pastor's fault. And now, I don't think Jesus set up the kingdom, or even the people who started the early church did, that it was supposed to be a team effort and everybody bought in together and lived out that mission together. And so the idea was, I said, when the Wright brothers first created the first airplane and took off at Kitty Hawk for like 9 seconds or whatever it was, the innovators and designers of airplanes didn't stop there. They weren't satisfied with where the Wright brothers got the plane. They wanted to go further. But could you imagine if people following the Wright brothers said, well, since they made the first plane, it's their job to make it better. It's not our job. I mean, that would be nonsense, right? I mean, we have Learjets and 747s that can circle the world nowadays, and I mean, military jets that go super fast and that just continue to get better and better each year. But from where the Wright brothers were to where we are now is just phenomenal. It's because everybody took ownership with their faith. And that was really it. Ownership is the glue that makes revelation revolutionary. Meaning, when we own something, we hear a truth, we hear knowledge, but when we own it, it becomes revolutionary, because that means we're living it out. We're taking ownership for it. If we hear a revelation and do nothing with it, it will never be revolutionary. And so that was the real guts to the message yesterday, is we have to own the message. And so I hope that gives you some motivation today, is that when you're going out to further God's kingdom, and whether that's you're a mom at home, whether you're at work today, whether today's your day off, whether today is the busiest day of your week, that God has called us to go. That's the go in the gospel, and that he'll use any of us if we say yes, but we have to own it, and we have to do it together. And the good news is, at the end of the Great Commission, he promises us, he says we don't have to do it alone, that he'll be with us to the very end of the age. And that is the Monday motivation for you guys today. So leave a comment. Let me know that if you got this and received it. Let me know maybe something that has been difficult with you lately, trying to follow Jesus alone, maybe not in community. What's the best part of being in church? What's hard about it? Just let us know, and we'd be loving to pray for you, and we can't wait to see you soon. So have an awesome day.